Is your dad a sentimental guy?
I feel like you could be, but I haven't really witnessed. Like, I've never seen my dad cry before, so.
I would say, yeah, he's very sentimental. He cares more about quality time over what's given to him, and he's really, what's the meaning behind everything.
My mom is more of the sentimental person. He's the one that, like, you don't need this, throw it away kind of person.
What is your favorite memory or one of your favorite memories together?
He would grab these wooden planks and screw a thing at the top to hold a rubber band, and we'd have a clothespin that would hold the paper and it would just shoot. I remember shooting our AC unit and just shooting it in the air, and that was probably the most fun I've had when I was little.
I think one of the best things is that, like, he was always there. So, like, even if it wasn't doing hair, it was, like, taking me somewhere I wanted to go or, like, getting me something. I think just spending time and having, like, that quality time with him and not being, like, afraid to just spend time with my dad and being able to do that, I think was probably the most memorable thing.
It was the last day of our like Disney trip, and you know how I can also love rides, but I just sat on the side most of the time. But like the one thing I really wanted was like the little toy, and it was like the last day and it was closing, and
Jasmine.
yeah. You put me on your back and we like sprinted to the Disney store, and I remember thinking that we were like flying because of how small I was, and we ran, and then we made it in time, and then we got the toy, so I drew it.
And it was the last one.
When it comes to your relationship, is there anything that you regret?
Well, like for me, this is more for like now. When she was younger, it was easier. Like I taught her how to ride a bike, how to play basketball and stuff.
More so when I was growing up, I would say middle school and earlier high school, I wouldn't appreciate the quality time or just being able to talk story with him.
As she gets older and more independent, I find it maybe a little more difficult to connect and spend time with her. Now she's busy, she's going to school, she's working, she has a boyfriend, you know, so there's not much time like before, yeah?
And enjoying that relationship where I could be myself and be free, talk about anything. I didn't really appreciate that until now.
What is the greatest thing you have learned from the other?
I learned like pretty early on. I was like, oh, like you're always gonna be there right after. Like, cause of course you correct me, like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that. But then like immediately after, you just give me a hug, and I just cry and cry for so long.
She's a lot more patient. She has a lot more patience than I do. And well, raising her, it took patience. So
be calm. It's going to work out. And you would think that's something that a father would say to his son, but I've actually never had to say that to Sky because he lives it.
You would tell me, you would say it out loud too, to make sure I knew. You're like, oh, don't worry, whatever you do, like, you know what you did wrong, but like, I'll always love you, and da-da-da-da. So I was lucky to learn it as a kid growing up till now, so.
I think my mom and my dad, they've made it a priority to like always come to church and like to be involved in ministry, and not just telling me what to do, but leading by example and showing me like what it means to have a relationship with God and to like have a godly relationship as like husband and wife as well, and being like godly parents and raising us.
Many fathers, we don't have the best examples all the time, right? So you feel like you're working out of a deficit, but God is so gracious. And undeservingly, Karen and I have 3 amazing children, and Arya is clearly to me one of them. But it's by the grace of God, and you measure all these things you did wrong against some of the things you did right.
And I've always told you 2 things, and that is, I'm always here for you, and you can tell me anything.
I think the grace part of it, in understanding that God equips you in certain ways to raise your children, and He gives you a book. But there's also that grace, and then trying to pass down that concept of grace to your children so that they understand that you can make mistakes, but you're always there for them. You'll always love them no matter what.